today's soul session, I am going to be talking about a couple of things that you can put in place to help the growth of your business. I got this question asked today by one of the incredible girls on my team, and she was asking, what are some things I can put in place? Like, my business is growing, it's starting to get momentum, and I'm needing some organization skills or some type of tips. So I love this question. I thought it was great. So I thought I would give you guys some of my strategies of what I put in place. Hey Lars, how are you? To sort of help that process, because don't forget, I love this saying, the universe will never give you more than you can handle. So if you are feeling like you are drowning, if you're overwhelmed, maybe you've got all these things that you're like opportunities and things that are coming into place for you, and you're like, I just can't handle it all. Like, my business is starting to pick up and I want to expand and I want to scale it, but like, how do I do that? How do I become organized? Today's soul session is going to be all about that. Hey Kristen, this is your question, girlfriend. So I hope this helps. And let me know in the chat, in particular, what it is that you're needing help with. If there's like a specific area of your business that you are needing help with so that it can grow, it can scale more. Okay, so first of all, get yourself an office, get yourself an actual space where you work from. I love to have my vision board right where I work. So this is my computer. I actually, so that you guys know, sorry, I'll stop spinning you guys around. You probably feel sick right now. I have a screen, and then I have this awesome little cord that links up to my laptop. My laptop's not here at the moment. It's just out in the living room because I was working out there this morning. So I work with a big screen. I do not work on my laptop like this, all crouched up, bad posture. This right here is not good vibes, not good energy. So you want to be sitting up straight. One of the things my chiropractor taught me was to have my laptop up on a little like stand. You want to have your laptop, I know this has nothing to do with growing your business, but I promise you, your space helps you feel expansive. So it's my number one tip. So my chiropractor told me to have great posture. Make sure the bottom of your laptop screen is in line with your eyes. I know that feels weird, right? Because when you're sitting, you're like this. But look what it's doing to your spine. It's so good for you. Don't forget your central nervous system. It talks to your entire body, guys. It's where your brain communicates to your organs, your skin, your adrenals, like everything that produces hormones in your body. Everything in your body communicates through your spine here. So your central nervous system, you really want to be looking after it. And so first of all, workplace, laptop is so important. So yeah, my laptop is, I can't remember how many inches it is, but it's small. Like, it's great for traveling, but when I'm at home, I like to link it up to this huge screen. That's just like a monitor from Kogan, by the way. It was like $300. Okay, so get yourself a great office space. Have your things in here that make you feel abundant and like you are a boss babe. I'll show you some of the things that I have here. Over here, I have something about my star sign that reminds me about all my strengths and qualities. I've got some plants in here. I've got my universal sign. I've got some crystals over here, some incense. These are some more of my universal signs. I know that's random, but that's some of my universal signs that I, like little shells that I pick up on the beach when I walk in the morning. This I got from Kmart, by the way. It was like $12. I've got my vision board up here. I've also got a freaking massive whiteboard. So if you are in business and you want to feel on top of things, if you want to have reminders, if you want to have something that you need to, like if you've got projects that you're working on, have it in your office space so that like when I'm working here, I'm just looking here to like see what I have to do, what I'm working on. So yes, I love this setup too, Karina. It is bliss being in here. And then of course I've got some nice little pretty things behind me when I'm on Zooms or when I am talking to you guys on my soul sessions so that the background is pretty. I make sure my house is always looking nice and clean and professional for you guys. You'll never see dirty laundry in the background. You'll always have lighting on my face. So right now I'm sitting in front of a window. Can you see it in my glasses? I sit in front of a window on purpose because I look professional right now, right? You are going to more likely want to join my team and my business as opposed to someone who's like really dark, like in a corner, like over here with like crap on the floor and it's like dark in there, right? So be professional, you guys. Have some etiquette when you're online and showing up. So that's the first thing, like seriously, how to grow your business. Like show up like your next level self. Dress nicely. This is another thing, like, you know, sometimes I love that I get to work in PJs if I want to, or I can just have a messy bun. But you know what? I recently changed that about myself. I've started getting a weekly blow dry. There's this place on the Gold Coast called the Blow Dry Club. It's $18 a week. I get my hair done, I get it styled and washed, and then I actually make an effort. I put some makeup on for you guys. I dress nicely. I put my favorite jewelry on. I do still have my Ugg boots on though. Because it's, you know, like party up here and, you know, chill down the bottom. But show up professionally. That makes a big difference. Again, like, I mean, and no judgment on whatever's happening in the background in your house, but if your house is a bit messy, if your house is, you know, something that you want your background to be inspiring to people. I'm not saying you need to go and ball out and buy all these things that going to make you look bougie. That's not what I'm saying, but make it look presentable. If you've got some trophies that you've won, you know, put them back there. It works. Okay, but let's talk about specific details. Now, I'm just going to quickly check the chat. If you guys have any questions around how, like, what is it that you're needing help with in regards to scaling your business and how to organize that, let me know. I've seen Kristen's written here, having a blockage when it comes to the amount of conversations I can handle, if that makes sense. That's a good one. Okay, having so many ideas but not sure how to streamline it. That's a good one as well. Hey Stacy, how are you, beautiful? Okay, so they're my only questions at the moment, so I'll get to them first. So first of all, with your ideas, did I do an IG soul session on this? I'm sure I did. I did a podcast episode on this, and I will find the episode number. But I went through a specific process that I use to help me with all of my projects. So Loz, I won't answer this in this soul session, but I will put it when I put the recording up of this soul session. I will put the episode number of my podcast on this because I use Asana for all of my projects because I love it. You can delegate it to people if you've got people helping you. I also ask myself a series of 5 questions to make me realize, like, is this a higher paying activity? Is this going to scale my business? Or is this just more work that I'm putting on my plate? Or is this something creative that fills my cup up? Or is this going to actually make me feel overwhelmed? So there's a process of questions I ask myself when I get these bright ideas. I usually get them in the shower. I'm usually just like, you know, washing my hair and I'm like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. I'll put it in my Asana board. I have my entire year like spread out in Asana. And then I start to put projects in throughout the year. I timeline them and then I'll go through my questions to make sure that it's something that is definitely something I want to focus and put energy into. And sometimes, you know what, I come up with an idea in a project that is such a good idea, but it's not going to scale my business. It's not going to get me paid. It's just going to make me more overwhelmed. So sometimes I just need to, like, you know, cross it off the list. So I will put that episode up for you guys in the comments when I upload the recording of this. So that'll help you, Loz. But for the other question for Kristen, let me get it up. Having a blockage when it comes to the amount of conversations I can handle, if that makes sense. So yes, if you're in business, you need to be a networker, right? It doesn't matter what business, what industry you're in. It is so important that you are networking, that you are meeting people, that you are getting your word and your mission and your business out there, that you're asking for referrals, that you are sort of like, you know, you're the driver of your business results. If you're not having conversations, you don't have a business. Like, yes, social media is fantastic and we can leverage off it. Yes, there are other incredible ways, but at the end of the day, growing a business and scaling it really does come down to you adding value to others, and for you to add value to others, you need to be talking to people, because you need to be finding out what are their pain points, how can you help them, does your product or your service provide the solution for what that person needs. Or like me, I love networking with people who don't necessarily need or want my product and service, but they may know people. So I help them, and then I'll say, hey, if you ever want to help me back, like send me referrals my way, tell people about me. I would love that. So a perfect example of this, Kristen, is how I handle these conversations is I use what's called a CRM management tool. What does CRM stand for? Customer Relation Management or something like that. CRM, essentially it is a system or a tool that it's like your address book that keeps all of your connections in one place. Now, I am specifically in the network marketing industry, so I'm going to share with you guys the CRM management tool that I use but you could use this in any industry. It's not just for network marketing or sales. You could use it for, any industry. If you have any type of business or product that you're trying to get out there and you are in the thick of the networking part of your business, when you're in startup phase, or actually you're just always networking, doesn't matter what phase of business you're in, this is actually a really good program. It's called TeamZ. TeamZy. I don't have any affiliation with them. That is legitimately a suggestion that I would love to give you guys. So TeamZ is network marketing specific, but the way it works is it's like you tell it all your contacts. So any leads that you get, any people that you meet, anyone that you want to be reminded about following up with or checking in with, you put it in there. So let's just say, Kristen, you are someone that I meet on the internet and I want to keep in contact with you. Now, I talk to literally hundreds and hundreds of people a week. I do. And so sometimes I can get pretty forgetful. You can imagine that I'm just like, God, there's so many people I'm talking to. Who's this person again? Where are they from? Like, what was I talking to them about? Rather than me having to scroll through our conversation to be like, what are we talking about? I put you in TeamZ. So I put everything about you in TeamZ. I put where you're from, if I know any details about you, like, are you a mom? What are your kids' names? How old are they? What is it about you? What conversation have we had? And TeamZ has this capability where you tell TeamZ when to remind you to check in with you again. So if, let's just say, Kristen, you and I are talking about how you are wanting to lose weight. I'm just making something up. Or maybe it's you are wanting to boost your energy or something like that. I'm not going to straight off the bat just be like, buy my product, use my program, I can help you. Like, the way that any business owner that is doing this correctly and soulfully and ethically is, let me add value to you first. And then if you resonate with me and you like what I'm about, then maybe my product and service is something you would like in the future. So I just put business aside. And it's all about value. It's all about adding value to you, Kristen. So, I'll be like, hey, have you read this book? Or have you checked out this podcast? Or have you seen this YouTube video? Or, hey, do you know this speaker? She has heaps of stuff on YouTube, whatever. I add value to you. And then I'm going to follow up with you in a few weeks' time. See how that went. Did you read the book? Did you listen to the podcast? Did you watch that YouTube I mentioned? So I'll put the date in TeamZ. Then I log into TeamZ every day. Every day it tells me who to follow up with, which is amazing. I don't need to think about it. TeamZ tells me, hey, check in with such and such. Or, hey, it's such and such's birthday, or whatever. So I put, an hour aside every day just to check into my TeamZ. It also reminds me about my customers to check in with and say hi to. So, TeamZ. Yeah, that's my number one thing. That is how I handle the amount of conversations that I have. And yes, my inbox is full of, unread messages. But my TeamZ is going to tell me in 5 days when to catch up with someone, because I've told it I want to catch up with this person in 5 days from now, in 5 weeks from now, in a year from now, whatever. So that is how I handle it. I would definitely recommend TeamZ. It is awesome. Okay. Any other questions, you guys, around how to scale your business? Let me know in the chat But other ways that I would recommend for you to just go next level with scaling your business and handling its growth is get a digital calendar. If you are in business and you don't have a digital calendar, I don't know what you're doing. Get yourself organized. You cannot wing this. You just cannot. And so use your calendar as a way for you to be on top of everything that you need to do, have to do, going to do. It is such an incredible way for you to just be on top of things. So just so that you know, I'm at a point in my business right now where I have an assistant who helps me with this. I have an assistant who on Mondays we catch up and we look at all of my events, meetings, everything that's scheduled into my calendar for the week. We go through every item one by one on a Monday morning. So we did this today, and anything that I need, like Zoom links, it's in my calendar. Anything that I need to know, like notes in that specific, like the description of each event in my calendar. And that just helps me, because if I'm like, oh, actually I'm hosting that thing on Wednesday, but I don't know what the login details are for me to host it on Zoom. Can you find out for me? She'll go find out and she'll put it in there. I didn't need her up until recently. Like, I have been running my calendar by myself for the last 5.5 years, but I'm at a point in my business now where I need help. So if you are at a point in your business where maybe you're like ready to scale to like multiple 6 figures or 7 figures and beyond, maybe it's time for you to get an assistant. Now, talking about assistants and virtual assistants and things like that, I actually hired my very first virtual assistant when I was earning about $2,000 a month. So I wasn't earning very much from my business. Well, very much, I was earning a part-time income from my business, and I decided that I was going to invest in a VA to help me with a couple of things that I needed. So things that you don't like doing. So make a list of all the things that you do in your business, and then I would highlight the things that you don't necessarily like and you're not necessarily good at, or you're not necessarily the best at remembering. Start to get your virtual assistant to help you with those things first. So in the early days for me, that would be like, I knew I had to track my business growth every month. I knew I had to. For, anything that you don't measure doesn't grow. So one of the things that I did every month on month, was I tracked my business growth, different like metrics and different KPIs in my business to compare them month on month. And it got to a point where I was like, this is boring and I'm not great at it. So I hired someone to do all that for me and collate it for me in a beautiful email and give it to me, every 10 days. So I've been doing that for years. And then over the years, I got my assistant to do more and more for me, more things that I didn't like doing. We call it the drudgery list, right? So the drudgery list are your drudgery list of things that you're not good at and things that you don't enjoy doing, or a mixture of both. So start getting a virtual assistant if that's something that you can afford, or you can invest in, even if it's someone that does 2 to 3 hours a week for you. Maybe you hate being on social media all the time, but being on social media is something that's going to grow your business. Well, why don't you pay someone to do something for you on social media that you don't like or you're not necessarily great at? Maybe like to create some posts for you, or maybe to source pictures for you and you create the captions, or whatever it is, you can start to delegate. I promise it is such a great investment, especially as you start to grow your business. So at the moment, I have got 2 in-person assistants. They both do 2 very different things, but one is like my personal assistant. She's my executive assistant. And then I have another assistant who is like my team coordinator. I've got those 2 girls, and then beneath those girls, I've got about 7 virtual assistants that are from all around the world, and they all do different parts of my business as well. And this is how on top of it I am. That thing over there are all my contractors, all my VAs, it's kind of like the hierarchy of my team and what everyone does. So I've got that over there to help me go, right, well, what is Beck in charge of? What is Addie in charge of? What is Kiki in charge of? What is that person, Cheryl, in charge of? So I am very, very prepared with my VAs and my EA and my PA. They all have a different role and they help me run my empire. So if that's something that you would aspire to do, then I would suggest to start small and just start with one assistant. I promise it'll really, really help. Okay, I have one last question here. How do you find time while working full time? Single mum and studying. Would you just say it's not the right time if you're not having success? No. So when I first started, okay, this is the thing. This is what I posted about this 2 days ago. So check out my latest reel. It's never going to be the right time to start a business. Never. It really never will. You'll always find an excuse. So you've just got to make it work. So what that means is when I started my business, for example, I was working about 50 hours a week. I was competing professionally as a bodybuilder. So I was training like 2 times a day. I was eating like a ridiculous meal plan. So I was literally meal prepping every day. That was taking about an hour of my time. I was commuting to and from work. So I was in the car or in the train for 3 to 4 hours a day on my way to work. So it wasn't convenient for me to start my business when I started it. But you just find the time, you just make it work. And anyone who starts a business is in the same position. They've got something else that they're doing so that they can create an income. So what I would suggest for you is find stolen moments in your day. That's what I did. I had to just find pockets of time. And maybe that was, waking up an extra hour early so I could do like little 15-minute blocks of like my business DMO, daily method of operation. My daily method of operation were just items that were high paying. They're things that move the needle in my business, that make it grow, get me paid. And I would do them in like 15-minute little increments or 30-minute increments or hour increments. So those times were before I woke up, in my lunch breaks. They were at nighttime. So for you, if you're a mom, why don't you do it when the kids are asleep? Or if you have a baby, when your baby is napping, or just find those stolen moments. And you'll find that it's not about how much work you can get done. It's just about how consistent you are about getting the work done. So success and results doesn't come from someone who's more talented than you and has more time than you. Success and results comes from the people who are more consistent than you. So I would suggest to just find pockets of time in your day where you can consistently show up every day, even if it's for a small amount of time, because consistency is what brings results. So for those of you who start and stop, who dip out and come back in, who have a break and come back, the reason your business isn't successful is because you're doing that. It's kind of like when you're trying to lose weight, and then you do this diet and then you binge, and then you do another diet and you binge. And it's like, that's why you still look the same that you did a year ago, because you're not consistent with your healthy eating and your exercising of your body. So I promise, scale and growth of your business comes from just being consistent. It comes from being organized. It comes from showing up as your next level self. And it comes from you just taking action. That's literally it. So I'm going to leave it there because I didn't want this one to be too long. I just wanted to give you some helpful tips. But Teamsy is awesome. Set your space up, like I said. Find pockets of time. Promise yourself you'll show up to your business consistently. And I promise that will override talent any day. All right, I'm gonna love you and leave you guys there. Have an awesome week. I hope this has helped. Share this with anyone who you feel needs to hear it, and let me know in the comments section below what your number one thing that you're gonna take action on is moving forward from today onwards. Okay, bye guys.